Alright, hello. We are going to do the CITC 2320 Lab 2 today. And in that lab, here are some of the things we're going to go over. We're going to activate Windows, set the time zone, configure the network connection, rename the computer, rename a remote desktop, join server A to the class2020.com domain. On server A, use the PowerShell to configure all of those settings. We're going to set up a default DNS server. We're going to convert the core back to full GI when we're done, and we're going to test the connections between the two. Let's get into it. Let me just log in here. I'm going to let everything load up real quick, and I'll be right back to you. Alright, now that everything's loaded up, you're going to have to remove the minimum GUI first. And to do that, you go to Manage, Remove Roles and Features. You got to click Next, and we're going to do it on this server, so we're going to click Next again. It's not a role, it's a feature, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You scroll down here, and when it says User Interface and Infrastructure, you deselect that and click Next. And what that's going to remove, it's going to remove the User Interface and Infrastructure, which is the graphical management tool and infrastructure, and the server graphical shell. And since we're going to have to restart after this anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click this option, that way it does it for us. And you just click Remove. And it's going to take a while, so I'll come back to it after we're done. Alright, now that it's done, let's go ahead and get back into it. Let me just log back in here real quick. Let everything load back up real quick. Alright, now everything's loaded up. We're not in the PowerShell yet. To go into PowerShell, you just type in PowerShell. And now, as you can see here, there's a PS, which stands for PowerShell. It also says Windows PowerShell up here at the top. Alright, so the first thing we needed to do was activate Windows. And to do that, you go SLMGR period VBS space /IPK, and then you just paste in your code. And you hit enter. And eventually there's going to be a little window, yep, right here. And it said we installed it correctly, or was successful. And now we have to do the time zone. And to do time zone, you go, it's TZUTIL space /S space again Eastern time, or standard time, my bad. And in quotes. And then you type in get WMI object and the class you're going to want to type in is win32_time zone. If it helps, I can spell. And as you can see, we're in the Eastern time zone. Well, it won't make it any bigger, but that's what it stands for. And so now we need to configure the network settings. So we need to do get net IP interface. That's going to bring up a little table here. And then what we want is the IP for local area and connection right here. And since it's a 12, that will come in handy later. So the next thing we want to do is new net IP address space dash IP address, which is going to be 10.1.1.11, because that's the address for this is the address that's going to be for server A. And the prefix length we want is going to be 24, so let's go ahead and type that in. And I told you that we're going to need the index for later, so now we got to type that in, which is the interface index. So you just dash interface index, which is going to be 12. And now we need a default gateway for the DNS server. So you type in dash default gateway. And the IP address for the default gateway is going to be 10.1.1.1. Okay, so after you do that, you just hit enter, and it'll take it. And as you can see, the IP address for this is going to be 10.1.1.11. It's going to have a prefix length 24, and it's going to have an interface index of 12. And since this right here doesn't really show our default gateway, so I'll go ahead and pull that up real quick. And as you can see, the IP version for default gateway is 10.1.1.1, and we're connected via the local area network with the same, so some of the same options. And so now we need to set a server address. So you just type in set. This is for this is server address is going to be for the DNS server. So you type in DNS client. Oh, helps if I was typing. It's going to be set DNS client server address space dash interface index is going to be 12 again, and then the server address. Which is going to be the same as the default gateway. And it took it. So now we're going to have to rename the computer because we want it to be server A. So to do that, you just go rename dash computer. And it's going to come up and saying all this, going to say new name, and we're going to be server A. And it'll say these changes will take effect after you restart the computer. And so right now our host name is WIN H6 and a bunch of other random characters. Okay, so now we're going to have a firewall for our remote desktop. And to do that, you have to type in this, which is get item properly. Oh, it helps I can spell. One second. Sorry I got quiet there. I still messed up even though I was trying to concentrate. That's better. That it went in now. All right. So now next command to internet to make the firewall come up. It's going to be set dash item property dash path. No, I'm just going to do it this way. Make it easier on myself. I'm just going to and paste this command in since it's gigantic. And since that command took, I'm going to go ahead and paste the next one in. And see we have 0 connections right now. And our driver is going to be HKLM. And then now we need to enable the firewall role. And the way to do that is enable dash net firewall role dash display groups and in quotations remote desktop. In quotes. And yet again, it helps I can spell. Let me go ahead and put that command in real quick. There it took it. And turn this on, we have to turn the value to 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And since we don't want just anyone coming in to our server or anything like via remote, we're going to have to put up user authentication. And to turn that on, we'll have to have this command. All right, now we need somewhere to join to for remote desktop to work. So now we're going to join the domain class 2020. And to do that, you go to add computer. And it's going to come up and it's going to pop up this for our credentials. And the username is administrator. And the password is the one that you're going to set. That you should already set it, my bad. And it took us, so now almost knowing our domain name, so we're going to go into class 2020. And it says the changes will take effect after restart the computer, which we're going to go ahead and restart right now. So to do that, you just hit restart dash computer. And it's going to restart for us. And I'll come back to it as soon as it reloads. I guess I'll be our guinea pig and see if that server DC decides to work. Or are you just gonna do the video here and then go home and talk over it and stuff? Oh, okay. Okay. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. Now that we're back up here, I'm gonna go ahead and sign back in real quick. And since you did restart, it will kick you back out of PowerShell. But yet again, to get back in the PowerShell, you just got to retype PowerShell. And yet again, it says Windows PowerShell up here, and it says PS, which stands for you're in PowerShell. Since we just joined the domain, we're going to verify some connections. Okay, well, first of all, let's see if our host name went through, which it apparently didn't. So I'll fix that in a minute. I'm just going to test all the other connections real quick before I go back. And so let's test our IP address and everything else. So we'll do get net IP configuration. And as you can see here, our IP address is 10.1.1.11, which it should be. The DNS server and default gateway for this is 10.1.1.1, which is both the server DC. So that's all good. So now let's ping our default gateway or the DNS server, whichever one you want to call it. And as you can see, our ping went through on that one. So now let's ping our domain. Which is again class2020.com. Well, it says it couldn't find it, but so I'll go ahead and, oh, it helps if I can spell yet again. I can't spell class apparently. So let's ping class2020.com this time instead of class. And there we go. As you can see, if you can spell, your pings go through. And then now we're going to ping the DNS server or server DC. And as you can see, our pings went through when you ping server DC. And so now the last part of this lab is to take your PowerShell back all the way back to your GUI. So to do that, you use the install Windows feature, server GUI management, infrastructure.server GUI shell, and then you tell it where to put it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that command in real quick. And as you can see up here at the top, it says collecting data, and it's going to load all the way up to 100%, and you have to restart it after that. And so I'll come back to you right before I restart it. That way y'all can see me restart it. And as you can see, it says you must restart the server to finish the installation process. And so we'll go ahead and restart with restart. Let me retype that. Restart dash computer. And then when you do that, it's gonna think about it and it's gonna go restart. So I'll come back to you once again once it reloads. All right, now now it's restarted. I'm gonna go ahead and log in. That way you can see if it actually worked. Oh, I didn't press insert. Okay, so we're gonna type in the password real quick. And as you can see, the GUI is back. And so some of the stuff we covered, we programmed a DNS server, we programmed IP addresses, we joined a consisting domain, we renamed the computer. So that's going to be it for today's lab. Thank you for watching.